Because of my dad's job, we had to move from our old city to a smaller town on the outskirts. A quiet place with only a few narrow streets, old houses, and the damn morning air that always smelled like rain. Everything felt strange here, even the silence. My first day of school, my heart was pounding. I didn't know anyone and I had no idea how the students would react to a new girl. The building was small, the paint on the wall was faded, and the hallway smelled like chalk and moisture. I sat alone on a bench in the schoolyard. Sunlight was hitting the ground when suddenly a shadow appeared in front of me. I looked up. A tall boy with dark hair and deep eyes smiled and said, "I'm Joey." His smile made me feel like maybe this new start wouldn't be so bad after all. Over time, we grew closer. We'd go out for coffee after school, talk for hours, laugh. But in class, I could always feel someone's cold gaze on me. A blonde girl, Sarah. Everyone said she'd been with Joey for years, but that they'd just broken up. Times had passed, and one morning, when I came to class, there was a note on my desk. In big letters it said, "Get lost." And on my locker, someone had written on red marker, "He's mine." That's when the fear began. One night, around 2 a.m., I suddenly woke up. Something told me to look out the window. When I pulled the curtain aside, Sarah was standing in the middle of the street, wearing a long, white nightgown, staring straight up at my window. I froze, but when I blinked again, she was gone. The next morning, I told Joey, my voice shaking, I saw Sarah last night. I think she's upset with us." He frowned and snapped, "Don't ever mention her name again. It's over." I didn't feel very good, but I knew I could trust Joey more than anyone, so I got over it and let it go. A few days later, I stirred after school to finish my homework. Joey said he'd stay with me to help. The sun was setting, the room was quiet, except for the ticking of the clock. But then, the classroom door creaked open. I thought it was the janitor, but when I turned around, I saw Sarah. Her face was pale, cold, and furious. I whispered, "Sarah, why are you here? You look so angry." She took a step forward and said, "Did you really think you could replace me?" I turned to Joey. "Joey, what is she talking about?" He didn't answer. I called his name again. This time, he stepped closer and took my hand. For a second, I thought he was going to protect me, but his hand was cold. When he looked into my eyes, he wasn't the same Joey anymore. There was no warmth, no emotion, just emptiness. He smiled slightly and whispered, "Lara, we like you. You can't leave now." Sarah stood behind me, smiling faintly, and that's when I realized they weren't exes. They were partners, not in love, but in something darker, something twisted. I screamed and ran, barefoot, down the wet asphalt, my feet bleeding, but I kept running until the cursed school disappeared behind me. I never saw Joey and Sarah again, but sometimes, late at night when I looked out of my window, I see two silhouettes standing across the street, still together and still watching. I was standing behind the fence, holding up my phone, recording every step he took. Lucas ran like he always did, straight, proud, like he owned the world. Everyone was shouting, cheering, full of life. And me, I was just filming. Then suddenly, right in the middle of the final lap, Lucas stopped. His hand went to his chest and fell. No one understood what had happened. I just froze there. My phone still recording. 3 hours later, the news spread through the whole school. Lucas is dead. No one believed it. They said he had a stroke. The police said they weren't sure what had happened. but I knew I had to watch the video. That night when everyone was asleep, I picked up my phone and hit play. My breathing got heavier as the footage rolled past the crowd, the noise, the cheers, and then there he was, in frame 37 behind the fence. A man wearing a dark coat, a wide brimmed hat, eyes that seemed to glow faintly through the mist. He wasn't the coach, he wasn't the parent. I had never seen him before. But he was there just seconds before Lucas fell. The next day at school, everyone pretended nothing had happened, but the air felt heavy. On the stadium bench, Lucas' training notebook was still there. On the last page, he had written, "I had to do it. I owe him. Just one more run." I owe him? Who? When I looked deeper, I found that Lucas has been spending a lot of money. New shoes, new phone, even though his family could barely afford rent. He said he had a part-time job, but no one knew where. Then someone said they'd seen a black car pick him up after school. That day at school, I watched the video again. This time, I noticed something new. While Lucas was running, something split from his pocket and fell to the ground. I paused the frame, a small white envelope, and suddenly, everything made sense. A few days later, the police said the Claire hasn't had been found, but I got a message, an unknown number. "Stop looking, Maria." He made his choice. I watched the video again, over and over. That man, every time I could swear he was looking at me, not at Lucas, at me. Weeks passed. School went back to normal, but I keep feeling like someone was watching me. One night outside my house, I saw it. The black car, parked across the street. It didn't move for 2 hours, then it just drove away. Now every time I look at the running track, I still see Lucas, right there, gasping for breath he can't take. He's not running anymore. He's a warning. I still have the video. I've hidden it. Sometimes late at night, I rewatch one frame, the one where the shadow stands behind the fence. And every time, I swear, that shadow smiles at the camera.